That's right, folks. It's the Vagrant's Valet. And I just picked up a homeless guy off the street, and this guy, folks, was a real character. We talked about the metaphysical, the paranormal, growing up with his parents and the problems they had. Then we did a little movie review. We went over The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly with Clint Eastwood. We talked about The Shining, some Richard Pryor movies, and we even went to the Dairy Queen and got a couple ice cream cones. So, hey, give this one a watch. It's a real fun one. Like I said, this guy was a real character, and it was a great way to spend Friday afternoon right here on the streets, helping out a homeless guy, listening to his stories, listening to his movie reviews, talking about living on the streets and what's been going on, and of course, having a little bit of ice cream. Ding, ding. Get a load of this one, folks. Hey, man, you need a ride? I'll give you a lift. Looks like you got a lot of gear. I'll take you wherever, it's free, wherever you want to go, brother.
Okay, I'm just going to the library.
Oh, absolutely. I love the library. You can throw your survival kit in back if you want.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Yeah, hop on in. We'll get you to where you need to go. Yeah, what's your name, please?
Steven.
Steven, right on, Steven.
Oh,
well, you never know when there's gonna be like a historic moment, you know, like the Zapruder film. So I can get that up for you.
oh, thanks.
What are you out doing?
Actually, I'm trying to just slowly get housing again. I got myself in a situation I shouldn't even be in the first place by not making the right decisions like within the past year. Well, since 2020.
What'd you do, Steve? Maybe I can help. Lay it on me.
Actually,
was it a woman? Was it a chick?
No, had nothing to do with that. Actually,
okay.
it was actually a legal action which I should have taken against Kroger South. It's during all that how the world's gone. Well, it's already gone mad, but the whole mask wearing thing and have you heard of Anthony Fauci?
Yeah, Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, that's pathological liar. Yeah, I mean it's been because back in 2020 of August, I was targeted by the management that night, plus security on duty that night, and they were not wearing masks. But they decided to target me for not wearing one, and it was a big mess. And
I always thought that Dr. Fauci kind of looked like Alfred E. Newman. You remember Alfred E. Newman?
Oh yeah, I'm aware of it.
Yeah, Mad Magazine. Well, so what happened at the grocery store?
Falsely arrested.
Oh, they busted you?
For nothing. Just because the security guard didn't like the fact that I basically didn't back down from their bullying.
What was his patient? Did the guy have a real short fuse?
Actually, he said some things to me after I was already in cuffs. He basically jumped me from behind, and
oh boy,
he's basically like pretty much got in my face and said I have like a photographic memory. He basically said like I dealt with some of your kind in Iraq.
Oh jeez, was this like in the condiment aisle or out front or?
Was like. Yeah, it was in front of Kroger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I unfortunately the position I was in, I ended up conceding to. Looking back on it, I wasn't thinking, and I ended up conceding to getting in the back of the police car for nothing. And long story short, public defender, Justin Rudda, and the judge that day said there's been no crime committed here. I have no history of criminality, and the only thing they had on me was, since I'm also not a thief, like a shoplifter, and the only thing they had on me was resisting arrest and a $1 fine. And the judge basically told my public defender that this is ridiculous. There's been no crime committed here, and if I had been thinking at the time, I don't know nothing about like hiring an attorney or nothing.
Well, how long were you in the joint?
Oh, I was. They just detained me in a the detox tank for like 48 hours.
Oh, had you been drinking or something?
No, nothing like that.
Well, why did they throw you in the detox?
They just didn't like the fact that I just wasn't wearing a mask. And that was basically it. And I don't even remember. In hindsight, like I said, if I had done everything right, I'd still have my own place, and I'm sure I would have won that case against Kroger. I'm sure I would have gotten at least 100,000. And yeah, I'm like, it's from what I know, what do you call it? The statute of limitations, whatever they call it. It's like, I should have. I could still possibly have sued them still, but now, I was told it was like I was told I had up to like 4 or 7 years to actually file a civil suit against Kroger for allowing that to happen. And yeah, I've been, so now I'm like, like I said, I've never in my life had to actually crash outside, like find a place to sleep. I've never had to. I'm 57 now. It's like had never had to be without shelter.
Well, so have you've been sleeping outside lately?
I've been doing it since November.
Well, were you out when it was like -5 degrees like 2 weeks ago?
Sure was.
How did you sleep? What, were you down like by Switchyard there, or?
Actually, I had a tent near Bloomington Transit, outside of it, like where there's that bridge on the Beeline.
You're under the bridge, the Grimes.
I was actually at the foot of the bridge with a tent during that winter storm, and actually.
Were there a bunch of people down there bivouacking, kind of?
No, I actually don't like encampments. I don't like being around a bunch of other. I'm what do you call it? I'm a private person, so I'd actually sleep where I can from other people. It's like I'm like being in that survival mode.
Were you ever in the service? Were you in the military or anything?
No,
Well, it sounds like if you're outside in the 5-degree weather, Steve, you've got some good survival skills.
I've just been able to be psychologically strong, and I've had to be that way all my life, actually.
What about, do you have family that can help you, or?
No.
Are your parents still with us, or?
No. They actually were they were part of the problem anyway, but yeah, they,
Well, how were they part of the problem?
Oh gosh, that's, well, if you're familiar with something called demon possession. Demon possession? Yeah, that's another long story that goes back to like the early 1970s.
Like the movie Exorcist?
Yeah, only not that extreme. This was like.
I never really saw that movie. I never saw Jaws either.
But we lived in a house have you heard of Fishers, Indiana?
Yeah, well, that's the land of milk and honey up there, isn't it?
Oh, pardon?
The Fishers, the land of milk and honey?
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
This is like, but a house we lived in was basically, had some evil presence in it, and I think it just basically, well, from what Mom told my brother before sometime before she died, which was December 20th, just past December 20th in like 81, she had a stroke while she was driving to my brother's house.
Oh, no.
And whatever was in that house, well, my brother told me that she said that she saw like a dark figure of a male, just a dark figure, some male with a dark hat on. And
like a deer stalker hat?
Pardon?
Like a deer stalker hat?
No, just some like spirit.
Oh.
Some evil spirit, and they were like, well, it did have. None of us are really. Did you
see it, or?
No, I've never. It was one of those things where.
You see, I would have hit the deck and hit under the bed if I see a ghost.
It was one of those deals where. how to put it, it was like, well, there were flames in the house, like on the, if you want to call it, on the astral side, like on the other, like after a person passes on.
Well, it was like metaphysical, something like that.
Yeah, this wasn't. Yeah, this is like more. Yeah,
like Aleister Crowley
in the paranormal category.
Oh,
yeah, there were flames in the house and on the walls and the ceiling, and there was some evil presence there. Like my brother was 8 years old, and I was like 5 or 6. But in that bunk bed we were sharing, and from my memory, there were no doors. It was a little brick house. But there was there was definitely. My brother was telling me that there was like a evil face looking in our bedroom window at him and talking to him. And
did it look like Jack Nicholson? You remember the movie The Shining?
Yeah, it was,
those
he just said it was an evil looking face.
Because in The Shining, it was those two twin girls. You remember that?
Oh yeah,
that freaked me out. It was the Overlook Motel. You remember that? And the blood's going down the hallway.
That movie.
It's like, who needs that?
Yeah, it was creepy.
Yeah, and then at the end, Jack Nicholson's character is in the picture.
Yeah.
So I never quite got that.
And I still remember the date on that picture too, 1927.
How do you remember that?
I've seen it so many times, I just end up paying attention to the details.
Well, apparently you do.
Yeah, it was like the 1927 ball in that, the New Year's Eve ball in that Overlook Hotel. It's like, yeah, it.
And what, Scatman? You remember Scatman's name in it? Scatman Crothers, the bald black dude.
Yeah.
What was it?
He was what?
What was his name in the movie?
Gosh.
Yeah, I can't remember. We're gonna have to look that up. But Nicholson said he felt that the solitude would do him good.
Captain Crothers' character name. Oh man.
Yeah, he was like the butler dude or whatever. Well, are you much of a movie buff?
A movie buff?
Yeah, like what? Do you watch a lot of movies?
No, I mean, I'm not like a movie buff. I'm more. I'm mostly an information person. I like to know what's really going on in the world, and I've been down that, what do they call it, the proverbial rabbit hole.
What, do you keep up on world politics much?
Oh no, it's not even political stuff. A lot of it's just who's really ruling the world. It's like nothing. Well, it's like the movie Idiocracy. Nothing makes any sense.
It's like some say there's a war on joy. Nobody wants you to have any fun anymore.
A what?
A war on joy.
A war on joy.
Joy, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's one where it's like whatever joy is. It's like, yeah. Well, I don't think the human race actually has it. I mean, obviously we don't. Like, our creativity has been drained. I mean, imagination. I like to break down words too. I mean, imagination. I mean, it's like a certain guy who was like a comic and teacher, philosopher, like you said, social critic, George Carlin.
Oh yeah, George Carlin. I saw him in Las Vegas. Did you ever see him live? I saw him at the Stardust.
I never had the privilege of being. I discovered him last as far as those type of.
Yeah, he was the hippy dippy weatherman in the 60s.
Yeah,
Carlin was. What did you like about George Carlin?
At first, actually, I just through somebody I know, he introduced me to Bill Hicks first, and this was like around 2006 or whenever it was. No, maybe it was before then, 2004. I think it was like 2004. Bill Hicks was the first one I discovered through this guy, and then I discovered this guy Doug Stanhope.
These were comedians?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried your hand on the comedy stage?
I actually was interested in that in the 80s. My creativity kind of got shut down, and no thanks to MOM. I had the cassette tape of Eddie Murphy Delirious.
Oh yeah, Eddie Murphy was
funny.
How about Richard Pryor? Were you much of a Richard Pryor guy?
I've seen Richard Pryor. That one just called Live in Concert. I've seen that twice.
You want something from the Dairy Queen? You want an ice cream cone? Let's get a couple ice creams. Why not? You're not in a hurry? Are you in a hurry or?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was in a hurry. I just have to still figure out a place to sleep tonight. I'm tired of sleeping in the inner city. It's like I actually have slept on the outskirts of Bloomington once, and just to get away from all the
weirdos,
the street people, plus the police, as I call them, police. Yeah, the LICE. They're just parasites. Like I said, I've done a lot of thinking over the decades, and I'm like and let's see, what was it? I don't remember. Yeah, I mean, the whole system is just the way it's designed, just to keep, not just here in the States, but worldwide, to keep humans oppressed. And there's so much stuff I've learned. It's hard. It's like in our origins, including our origins. I mean, where we even originally came from. I mean, it's hard to connect with. Now to actually have a real conversation with, the general population is so dumbed down. It's like, some people just, what do you call it, taboo. There's a lot of things that are just taboo to even talk about. It's like
you can tell me, what would be an example?
I mean, I'm even like who's ever maybe who was here before modern humans were, I've had a sighting. I've even had a sighting of something up there back in June. Something that was roughly the size of the moon, only it was whitish. It did a Z maneuver up in the sky, except it was
like a UFO type thing.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I just looked up and just seen this thing. It wasn't even a sharp angle. It just did it like a curve. And it just disappeared, and I even felt like
Did it freak you out?
No, I've always been open to this stuff.
So you think we get visited by Martians or whatever?
I don't even know who they are. I mean, I'm just not surprised if we're being monitored. It's like what are these humans doing? I mean, what are we doing? I mean, it's like even Carlin said, even Carlin said, have you seen this place lately? What used to be a paradise, this continent? It's one big shopping mall, embarrassing to look at.
Oh yeah, he went into that bit about how you always want to buy more stuff.
Yeah,
and then
always just accumulating stuff.
And then once you have stuff, you need a place to put that stuff.
Yeah, basically, it's like you said, all your house is a place with a roof to put your stuff anyways. And eventually, here where we're at, I'm also kind of big into physics, quantum physics, and they're eventually going to die. It's like the movie, it's like the Matrix theme, the theme of the whole Matrix movies. It's like we're just being drained of our life, our creativity and imagination. It's like, that's where my mind's been at for so many decades.
The quantum physics thing?
Well, that too, yeah. I mean, it's like, we shouldn't even be living off of an electrical grid. I mean, it's like, Doug Stanhope has even said the same thing Carlin said. It's like we're primitive. We're not even nowhere near where we should be. We're still a type 0 civilization, which means we're still
type 0?
We're still abusing the planet and getting and the resources. We're draining yeah, I mean, you can't keep draining your
all right, yeah.
world.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, what can I get for you?
You know what? This is my buddy Steve. What's your name, please?
Trace?
Trace? We'll have a couple ice cream cones.
Okay.
How about that?
Size for those?
I'm not really an ice cream.
We'll have 2 small ice, or would you want something else?
I mean,
We'll have 2 small ice cream cones.
Vanilla?
Yeah, vanilla. Vanilla, does that sound good?
What was that?
Yeah, how much is it?
$6.46.
Boy, that's a deal. Have things been busy around here? How about the customers? Are they usually pretty pleasant, or do they ever get unruly around here?
I would say they're normally pretty nice.
Well, if
They're
some,
getting ice cream.
well, yeah, but the waiting for it is the part I bet they don't like very much.
Yeah.
reminds me.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right, there, Steve.
Yeah, Steven.
Steven. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, thanks. See you later. Sure. Off we go. Couple ice cream cones. How about Richard Pryor? Were you a Richard Pryor fan?
I've actually seen some of his movies too, like Bustin' Loose and Moving. And of course, he was briefly in that movie Car Wash. Him and George Carlin were actually in that movie Car Wash.
Together?
Or as I remember, yeah. Of course, I think it was one of them was in it more brief than the other one. It was like, yeah, I can't even remember. I've only seen it once. Bustin' Loose. I've seen that like twice.
Was that a cowboy movie?
Nah.
No.
I never was into. Actually, the closest thing I've even seen was into as far as westerns was like Clint Eastwood.
Oh.
I mean, I've seen those like spaghetti westerns. I've seen them, and plus a movie like Pale Rider.
How about The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? Did you see that one?
Of course, yeah. I've seen.
Remember when he was shooting Tuco down from the rope?
He had.
How's the ice cream?
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had him on that rope, and here he was he was sitting on that tombstone thing, trying to keep him falling off of it, shaking it, and he's like, Blondie. It's like, I've seen that one a few times, definitely. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, yeah. But yeah, like, and the fact that, well, it's funny the way they did that, and of course Lee Van Cleef was also good in that.
Yeah, he was the bad.
He plays a good villain.
Yeah, he had that pointy mustache there, and he was real greedy. He says, "Which grave? Which grave?"
It's like, yeah, finds that it's like that the buried all that buried money, and he's digging, and he's like, "You're not digging." It's like, because the money's because the loot isn't here; it's someplace else.
It was 200,000 in gold.
Yeah.
Because what happened was a Confederate convoy met a Union ambush, and in the ensuing melee, 200,000 in gold disappeared. Well, the Army court holds a hearing. Jackson's acquitted, and then he disappears with the gold at the Glorietta Pass. It was actually loosely based on something historical. But how about Dirty Harry? Did you like that one? When Clint Eastwood was the cop?
I've seen those movies, and plus I'm also was big on. Actually, I've also seen Bruce Martial. I've seen so many martial arts movies, and I've seen them before he died. Of course, Bruce Lee. I've seen all his few movies he made.
Did he beat Chuck Norris, or did Chuck beat him?
Well, the way they had that movie choreographed, when I read about it, it was like it's like natural they're going to have Bruce Lee's character come out beating Norris, and of course Norris, who played. It's funny how how those two even connected, Lee and Norris. I mean, deep inside, I always thought there was a little bit of a jealousy thing in there regarding, like Norris not having the mental know-how, the mental philosophy of Lee. I mean, Norris is for. I just think, I've always thought there was a lot of fishy things about those two.
You think the fix was in?
Oh, pardon?
You think the fix was in? Is that the whole thing was rigged?
I'm a curious by nature. I've even dug into that stuff on the net, trying to figure out what the real relationship was, but and if how Norris might have actually felt deep inside about Lee that he never really would come out and say. But it's just strange to me that
your ice cream looks like it's dripping there a little bit. I want to give it up.
Of course, Return of the Dragon. Of course, it was released in the U.S. is under Return of the Dragon, but of course, in I guess it was whenever they released it in China, that movie. Of course, The Way of the Dragon was the title over in Golden Harvest under that name, that the Chinese film company Golden Harvest. It was released as Way of the Dragon.
I always get Return of the Dragon and Return of the Jedi mixed up. The Star Wars movie.
Oh, pardon?
Return of the Jedi. Did you see that one? The Star Wars movie, where
I'm not as big on the Star Wars movies, although I originally first saw. It's actually kind of funny. It was like back in probably around 1985. I first saw Star Wars on video disc.
Oh,
it looks
wow.
like a regular record. It was like I rented out a video disc player, and it was like I remember watching the Star Wars for the first time on that, and the picture was all floppy.
Well, I like Ben Kenobi. He was my favorite. Sir Alec Guinness. Remember him? He was also in The Bridge Over the River Kwai. Remember that about the British
I've actually
soldier?
never seen that one.
Oh, it's a good one. You got to watch that.
I think, let's see, I'm trying to remember. Now I'm thinking of how long that one movie was we were just talking about. The first time I saw it, my gosh, that movie was 3 hours long. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That was really drawn out.
Well, yeah, but you didn't. It was so good, you didn't want it to end. Remember the guy with one arm and Tuco's in the bathtub? It was the guy from the beginning of the movie. And the guy gives Tuco a speech as Tuco is sitting there in the bathtub. And then,
okay, I remember the bathtub.
Yeah, Tuco was taking a nice bubble bath there in the desert.
And unbeknownst to the guy that was giving him, shit, or talking to him, Tuco already had his gun in the bathtub with him.
Who would have thought? And then he told the guy, he says, if you're going to shoot. Don't talk. That's good advice.
That's funny you said that. If you're going to don't just shoot.
Yeah, he just wants, the guy wanted to give a big speech.
Makes me think of the scene from, Pill Rider, when those guys, or after Eastwood's character, and he goes in there in that one place and he's just drinking coffee. And that one guy, who actually, Charles Hallahan, who played one of the guys, he's ended up being in other movies like John Carpenter's The Thing and some others in a series from the 80s, Hunter, playing the captain. But Hallahan, I remember those guys, one of them was looking in that window in that shop where he's drinking coffee, and he's like, the guy actually comes out and says, you believe that some of these is actually he's drinking coffee and has his back to the window. So they thought they were just going to go in there and shoot him.
Oh.
I remember that part, just like the way they had that whole scene go. Yeah, they all walk in there, but by the time they walk in there, he's already, gone from the table he was sitting, and they walk in there, it's like, where the hell did he look? And then, and Eastwood's character just pops out of this from a side angle, and just they all start to draw, and then he's like, just shoots them all. Just thinking, the way they had that written, it's like, it's funny how many, some of those guys that were in Pill Rider are Billy Drago is if you've heard of him, he's been in actually quite a few movies, but of course I get curious about like things I read about these so-called like these actors who've died. But Billy Drago, he's actually same guy who's been in some westerns, has also been in some other like cult movies that like a following, and he was also in the movie Vamp. There's a movie called Vamp that Billy Drago was in, and I think he actually played one of the vampires.
All right, well, here we are at the library. You know where you going to sleep tonight? Do you know?
Not quite.
You can go to the Wheeler Mission. You know where I'm talking about?
I've actually been there. I was actually there for like 6 months and had to leave because of all the, it's gotten crazier there.
Is it a bunch of weirdos?
It's worse than that. There's actually been some, behind Wheeler Mission, there's an encampment, tents, and there was a guy was stabbed behind there.
Oh, jeez.
Actually, well, I wasn't friends with the guy, but I knew him. His name he went by Shaq, but he was stabbed by somebody, and he died.
Oh, no.
And there was a shooting back there. It's like
I saw that in the paper. It sounds like it's cursed.
It's insane there. It's like, that's pretty bad, but I'd rather sleep someplace else out in this than sleep in that place, because it was getting too crazy there for me. I'm like, if I had to keep my sanity and being psychologically strong, I thought, okay, I have to just get away from that. Well, to quote the hence the movie, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, another good one.
That's what it's like. That place sounds like it.
Yeah, I mean that movie. I mean it's. And Brad Dourif, the one who was in the wheelchair, Brad Dourif, that guy, he went on to do a lot of roles, of course, in movies, and he was also in an episode of, actually a few episodes of Star Trek Voyager, where he played some guy who was deranged. And of course, if you put, Tuvok was from Voyager, if you ever saw that.
Tupac?
Tuvok, the Vulcan.
Oh, I think it was Tupac. Oh.
No, Tuvok, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Tuvok, but he ended up doing a mind meld with this guy, Suter. Ron Suter was his name. Brad Dourif played that guy, and he ended up doing a mind meld with him that wasn't the best thing for him to do. Okay. It kind of messed with his psyche. Even the Vulcan characters weren't immune to the criminal mind completely.
All right, well,
pleasure.
The pleasure's mine. If you see me on the street, give me a wave. I'll pick you up if you need a lift. The handle's up on there. Yeah. Just give it a good yank there. There you go.
What was your name again?
Zook. Yeah, and if you see me, give me a wave. I'll give you a ride. Is that a deal?
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Stephen. It was a pleasure spending part of the afternoon. Don't forget your sleeping bag and your luggage there. The nice thing about a garbage bag is it's waterproof, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little more practical.
I've actually got a blue bag of mine in storage over at Shalom Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've just been trying to lighten my load.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go, Stephen. Yeah. Give me a wave, I'll give you a ride, buddy.
All right.
Okay, see ya. Keep rocking.
Yeah, thanks again.
You betcha. Well, look at there. A little ice cream with a homeless guy. What a delightful way to spend a Friday afternoon. And hey, if you're digging what you're seeing, go ahead, give me a like, subscribe, and of course, leave me a comment. Ding, ding.